Hey everyone, hopefully a real quick video here. A good day for me is when three people ask me something about my database, and three people have recently asked me the same thing about it, um, which is there a simplified version? So I tried to create another link. If you don't know where my database is, if you go to my Twitter timeline, my pinned tweet is a link to it. You follow the link, you go to my Patreon, you follow that link, you go to the database, and then it's saved forever in your Google folder, just in case you don't know how that works. Every time you go to Sheets, you'll be able to find it, unless it's been so long ago that you've looked at it that the things just dropped out of your history. The initial idea of the database was I wanted to track things that smart people that I respected had talked about on podcasts and in articles so that I could use it in trying to get better at prospect evaluation. So I really just, with a lot of help with a lot of friends, started tracking things that Sean Siegel, John Moore, Josh Hansmeyer, everyone had talked about with prospect evaluation, so that I could use it, and I thought that was value I could add to the community because it's mostly just grunt work, and I don't mind being the grunt work, right? And then everyone can use it. But I get that most people are just looking at 153 columns. It's too much, especially if you're just getting started with stats. But I don't want to. I created a separate link just under that pinned tweet. You'll find another post by me saying here's a simplified version recently. But I like just having one link to share. So I thought I'd start reorganizing it a little bit to make it simpler for the majority, but also keep all the information there so everyone can still keep using it. And also show you a little bit about how you can make your own version, basically, from mine. Or simplify it to the columns that you want. So real quick, because I'm late, I'm disheveled, I got somewhere to be, places to go, people to insult me, that kind of thing. So what I did is started with the wide receiver tab. It's one I'm working on most right now for the 2020 class, and I promise I'm about to switch over to running back any second now. But that's where I'm at. So that's where I started. So I wanted to show you how I've reorganized it and where all the other data is if you're more used to looking at all of it. And hopefully a very quick video. So let me flip over right now. Once you follow the link, this is the database you get to. You get the positions. This is literally in Google Sheets, a live shot of it. So quarterback, wide receiver, running back, tight end. I've also got my formula and results tab. So you can see the rudimentary testing I've been doing, but also the formulas to calculate things, because I spent a lot of time trying to figure those out. Conference history, let's not go there right now. And also the sources tab, which I keep adding to, which is where these stats are coming from, why I'm tracking them, where I'm getting the data from, the people who have helped me collect it. Anyway, wide receiver tab. It used to be much like every other tab is right now. What I'd have is all their stats laid out by age, counting stats up front. The green section with metrics and models that I'd heard about or other people had come up with, or maybe I'd tweaked a few things or made my own. And I just had them up front so you could look through them. That's one of the most recent changes I made. And then you have all their stats and their market share listed by age. So what they did at age 18, 19, 20, 21, so on and so forth. And then if I'm tracking dominator rating, you can see dominator rating in each age as well. But like I say, this creates a lot of columns. And then the combine database, so the data I have from the combine, which is most of it, for each wide receiver. Linking that up as well as the NFL career marks up was the hardest or the most labor intensive, because you've got to make sure all those names are the same so you can look them up together. I had to create an ID system, that kind of stuff. And this is what makes you able to test simple regression models against it. And that's how I wanted it organized. Like you can do a R-squared against one stat or series of stats against their average points per game. Or you can filter by only looking at wide receivers who have had top 24 seasons. So you get a decent sample, that kind of thing. Anyway. But again, this creates a lot of columns, and it's pretty hard for anyone that's just looking to, take a look at what their breakout age was. So the way I've reorganized it is, you still have the counting stats up front. I've included years played because I was using it once and people were interested in it. It's really easy to calculate, but I just put it in there to keep it simple. The breakout ages, and then the four main stats I think everyone's looking for wide receiver, like dominator. So this is their college dominator. The new one, or the newer one, which is really good, and I heard a whole bunch of smart people talking about it, so I started tracking it. It's receiving yards per team pass attempt, dominator, which is dominator rating calculated by year. Market share receiving yards, which is what I use to make my graphs that I get asked about. The context scores I've recently started developing, and then the models, my pre-draft and post-draft model, so you can see a history of how good or bad or crappy it is. And then production score really is a model, and given the way I calculate it, which you can find how I calculate in the formula and results tab, by the way, but it's not a regression model, but still, I include it as a model. Then you've got the combine, then you've got the NFL career marks. Now, for each stat, I listed what they did in their first year, their last year, best year, and average. Because not everyone played at 18, which is what creates all those blank cells. But everyone's got a first year, a last year, and an average. So whichever stat you are most interested in, or maybe you're interested in two, you can just look to see what they did in those years. Their first year, last year, best year, and what they did on average. You can see the college dominator, you can see their breakout age at either age, and it feels a lot cleaner, right? Now, since I think age is really important, and that's the other thing why I was tracking it by age, it's still all in here. I also have Yoa and Doa, which are my stats, but I figure people aren't as interested in them. I wouldn't be interested in what Jamoke is stat created. There's too many stats these days. So I'm just hiding them. Now, the way you hide stats is literally like you just saw. You select the columns, you right-click, and you click Hide. If you want to uncover them in Google Sheets, you just use these handy-dandy arrows, and it pops them back out. So they're not anywhere. You can still see them, but they're hidden for anyone that just wants a simplified version. Whereas if you want more data, again, you hit the arrows, and you can see all their stats listed by age, just like before. But it means it's just a cleaner, I think, it's just a cleaner look, especially for anyone who might not want to look over all of the data or look at all of the years. Just tell me what Rashad Bateman did in his most recent, in his case, season. Oh, look, a 39.1 dominator rating. That was a lot easier than having to, scoot through all the columns, figure out what they mean, and stuff like that. How about his average? How about his first year? See what I mean? There's also something that was suggested. I haven't heard any mention of it since then, but I made it, which is college dominator using receptions and yards instead of receptions and touchdowns. That's what the yards dominator is. And again, if you're ever not sure what college dominator is, if you go over the formulas and results tab, you can literally see what it is, my squared results, and how to calculate it if you're interested. Now, if that's still too much, tough. No, not really. I wanted to point out that the way I have this set up, I have it all predicted so that only I can edit it, but you can look through it. If you want to edit, if that's too much and you just want to reduce it down to college dominator and breakout age, all you have to do is go to File menu, make a copy, and that makes a copy of this whole sheet in your Google Drive. And you have full editing permission there. You can delete, you can remove stuff, you can add things if you choose to. And so therefore you could just highlight everything you don't want, right click, and I recommend highlighting whole columns and whole rows, not some, that's going to create a mess, and right click and delete. And that's it. You could delete this down to just breakout age and just college dominator, if those are the only two things you really are prepared to look at this point. Because everything else just seems messy and confusing. And look, dude, I just want to know the college dominator so I can add it to my film analysis. And there it is. You can also see, like the counting stats up front, how many yards they had in total for their career, what the receptions were in total for their career. So easy, quick references. It feels cleaner to me, feels like a better organization, and yet I'm still including all the information for anyone who likes to, nerd out like me and look at a huge, massive 153 column data set. So that's the way I have it organized. Hopefully it's cleaner and will scare off a lot less people. Just having to look at their first, last, best, and average instead of having to look along all those columns to figure it out for yourself, since these are mostly the categories we use. Again, everyone has a first year, not everyone has an age 18 year, so we end up talking about first, last, best, average. All right, I think that's it. I'm going to start working on the running back tab. I just improved my running back model, so I have a better idea of which would be the most important stats. Like I've got those 4 up front for wide receiver, first, last, best, average. So I'm thinking I'm going to try and do this type of organization for all of them. And I swear, I'm just about to get the running back, and so I'll start reorganizing that as well. Now, it sounds simple enough if you know X sheets, like why don't you just drag and drop, Pete? That's true, but I want to go through it slowly, because this is an evolution. To get to this point, it's taken me a lot of learning, a lot of figuring out what people like, don't like. it's not a paid thing. I'm doing this when I'm meant to be getting ready for work and doing some household chores, for example. So it's a work in progress, right? And I'm learning, so I do like to go a little bit slower that way. But I think we're getting there. I think that I'm getting there to a point where most people can use a Nerd's database for their own purposes, however they want to use it, even if they're not very familiar with Sheets, Excel, or anything like that. And that's where I'm trying to get. All right. I think that's all of it. I'm playing with YouTube, if you haven't noticed. I'm not very good at that either. But like, there should be a link popping up somewhere about... well, YouTube literally said, do you want us to recommend videos they might actually like, dude? I was like, yeah, sure, do that. So let me know if that's working. I guess if you make it to the end, it's meant to put it at the end. If not, this video is actually 10 minutes, so I'm actually pretty proud of myself. It's the first time I haven't talked too long. Thanks very much for checking out. I hope this is useful to you. And let me know. Let me know if there's something else that needs to be simplified or something else that I should try to start tracking with college stats so that we can keep up with the smart guys, right? All right. Thanks very much. Have a good day and good luck, I guess. Sounds kind of ominous. Doesn't good luck sound ominous when there's no reason to wish someone good luck? Like going out on stage, good luck makes sense. But if you just see someone, they're like, good luck, that's ominous. I apologize for that. Talk to you later. Bye.